was going to be a bit hot here tonight, so I went and bought some maxi pads a bit earlier today. You know, to catch the ball sweat. I got a bit confused though, you know, when you put those things on, I didn't know I had to wear panties too. So being a Vancouverite, you know, I find it a really expensive city to live in. So I look for any way that I can to save money. As any of my friends will tell you, well, they like to call me frugal. I prefer the term cheap. You know, let me give you an example. Like, I love yoga. So recently I bought an unlimited membership at my local yoga studio. Now I figured out how to get it down to $2 a class. The biggest issue is I gotta do 6 classes a day. That's a lot of Lulu laundry. And me being frugal, I hand wash it in cold water. So I'm super bendy, my hands are raw. Interesting side note, you know, poon fingers really cling to the mat. That was actually supposed to be a tiny bit funnier. We're supposed to get Sometimes my frugalness gets me in a bit of trouble. One time I was driving back from Kelowna, cherry orchard capital of Canada, and I stopped at a roadside fruit stand. Now, cherries were $2 a pound, 3 pounds for $5. So to save a buck, you know, I bought 3 pounds. The next stop was for gas, and the gas station had Rockstar energy drinks, 2 for $4. Couldn't say no. Now, no one sets out to consume 3 pounds of cherries with 2 Rockstar energy drinks in one sitting. Let alone on a long drive to Vancouver filled with traffic. But you know, shit happens. So I found myself in dire need of a washroom, and the closest free washroom I could find was at IKEA. I'm not proud of what happened next. So I parked in a spot for expectant mothers. I waddled my way in to the Movator, and thus began a nightmarish search through a seemingly endless maze of displays looking for the washroom. You know, I actually considered using one of the display toilets. There's temptation, you know, all privacy concerns out the window. When I did finally find the washroom, the volcano of Cherry Rock was about to erupt. I ran past the urinals to the first cubicle I could find, and I locked the door. And, you know, I managed to get my pants down. And as I was turning, well, you know those sprinklers that they just kind of spring to life and they spray in an arcing motion? Well, let's just say I hit the wall, I hit the toilet, and I hit the floor. And I thought to myself, oh, Shriek. Oh, that's Swedish for shit. I looked around, I had to do something. I had to leave it at least mop friendly for whatever poor soul was going to have to clean up after me. All I had was one ply IKEA toilet paper to clean with. But then I got lucky. I realized I'd also sprayed the back of my shirt. If I could tear the bottom off, I'd have a rag. So I gnawed a little hole in the front of my shirt. I couldn't pull it over my head because it'd be too messy. I managed to rip the shirt. I gingerly stepped out of it. I cleaned up the mess and I flushed the shirt down the toilet, and I proudly walked out of IKEA in my brand new crop top. Speaking of bad food decisions, I recently figured out that marijuana, medical marijuana, you know, it's counterproductive for keeping my binge eating in check. Like, if I medicate because I've got a sore back, I can polish off a tub of Haagen-Dazs in less than 10 minutes. And the problem is that then I need to medicate more to cure my ice cream headache, which means I smoke more pot, which means I eat more ice cream, which means I smoke more pot. It creates this feedback loop. Now, the problem with this feedback loop is that I don't know when to stop. So I figured out that the best thing to cure my binge eating is I'm actually having trouble remembering what the fuck the thing is. Luckily, I'm wearing the pens tonight, and they're odor holding, so I hope no one can smell anything. Eating frugal is the best thing for helping keep my binge eating in check. But get me to a store, and I can usually hold off on buying any junk food. But get me to a party, and I'm not saying I'll eat anything. I'm saying I'll eat everything. I gotta be strategic though, because I might have to stop eating before all the food's gone. So I start with the expensive gourmet foods, and then I work my way down to the cheap empty carbs and veggie plate. And I realize I'm not alone. This is not just a food phenomenon. The food at a party, it's exactly like the available single people. To start, everyone's a little bit standoffish. No one wants to be first in line at the buffet. But once the feeding frenzy begins, the best stuff goes quick. Now some people, they're like the gourmet meats and the sliced cheeses. They're gone almost immediately. Worst of all are the baby carrots. There will be baby carrots left at the end of the party, begging you to take them home. Now, have you ever noticed how the appearance of a baby carrot changes after it's been left out for a few hours? Now, I may not be baby carrots, but I'm definitely no gourmet meat. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm like spinach dipped in a bread bowl. At first, no one's too excited to see me, but by the end of the night, when the baby carrots are all whitish and shriveled and dry, the bread bowl is saturated in tzatziki, and sooner or later, someone's going to tear off with this.